Hey guys, Kakarot197 again. This time with a review of the 1/44 scale high-grade Universal Century Zaku 2 High Mobility Type R1A Shin Matsunaga Custom from the Gundam MSV series. And as to be expected from any Matsunaga custom unit, it's pretty white. And I gotta say that it really makes those black pipes pop out. Seam lines then generally don't disrupt this clean look, but you can still find a few. And for those who think that this is a straight recolor of the Black Tri-Stars version, not quite. The right shoulder has 2 indentations, the spike shield has some extra detailing, the elbow armor is slightly different, the hand covers and the front skirts have extra armor, and the back of the legs is more boxy. But should you want to, we do get the original front skirts and the original shoulder armor. Then what has remained the same are those kick-ass proportions and the color accuracy. For stickers, we get the usual pink mono eye and then some yellow for the right shoulder, a red one and 6 dark gray ones from the backpack, and finally 1 light gray one on each of the legs. And these stickers will cover most of the color accuracy, so what's left for you to paint is some red on the inside of the many thrusters, black for the smaller thrusters, gray for the thrusters on the feet, white on the bottom of these pipes, purple and yellow for on the heat hawk, and gray again for the weirdest case of remold syndrome that I've seen so far. The hands that originally came with the Zaku 2 F2 are in the correct color, but the new ones that we get with this one and the other high mobility type Zakus are in black. And if you want to go old school, they should be completely white. Then to round up the aesthetic, we get a lot of marking stickers for all over the Zaku, really nailing that MSV look. Triangles, warnings, Shin Matsunaga's personal emblem, and even a kill count. I really wish more high grades came with this many stickers. The only bad one is this one. Flat stickers on a rounded surface are notoriously bad, and this one is especially horrendous. And you even get 2 versions of that same sticker. You've got the all-in-one, which I used, and then you've got a separate one for the blue stripes and for the wolf head. So all in all, if you remove that sticker and use hands that are the same color, you've got a very presentable Zaku straight out of the box. And now let's have a look at all of the cool stuff that this thing comes with. Starting off with one of the most typical Zaku accessories, the heat hawk. It's really simple, just one piece, fits into the hands adequately enough and makes for some really cool poses. And should you not want to use it, it also has a peg on this side and then slots onto the side skirt like this. And to be honest, I feel that this is quite a step down from the mounting mechanism we've seen on other Zakus, where the heat hawk would click into a separate piece that went onto the side skirt, so you could have your heat hawk posed in the way that you wanted it, as opposed to having to put it like this. Then next up we have the Zaku machine gun, and this is a really cool little thing. We have a movable scope, we have a movable handle, we get a removable drum magazine that can also be stored onto the side skirt, either on this side or on the other side. And we don't just get 1 drum magazine, we get 2. Then to attach it to our Zaku, we get a left and a right trigger finger hand that are both on kind of an angle to make posing so much easier. And thanks to that angle, it looks really good. Also, the machine gun fits into the hands super securely thanks to the pegs that are on both sides of the machine gun. And basically the same goes for the Zaku bazooka. We have pegs on both sides of the handle. This thing will also move forwards for some really good posing capabilities. The handle here will go up and down, and the scope will also move a little bit up and down. And this thing also looks amazing in poses, whether you have it in the left hand together with the Zaku machine gun, or if you want to use them with just the bazooka. But what do you do if you want to store all of those accessories onto the Zaku? Well, we get this little piece that's capable of holding all of them. First up is the machine gun. It simply goes into this peg. Then for the bazooka, you can choose. There's a peg here and a clip here, and it will fit into either one of them. So if you buy a second Zaku high mobility type, you can still put a bazooka in there for double the bazookas for your Zaku. And then finally, even though you can already store the heat hawk onto the side skirts, there is still a provided clip to put it in there. And then you simply slide this whole arsenal onto the shoulder shield. Or at least I would show you that if this sticker wasn't preventing me from sliding it on there. So yeah, if you want to use this, don't apply this sticker. And with that thing out of the way, we move on to the final non-weapon accessories. We get an extra closed fist left hand, only a left one though, we do not get a right one. Then we get a different kind of commander antenna that you can use with this head. And in case you want your R1A to be a non-commander version, we also get a regular Zaku scalp that you can use instead. And now let's have a look at the articulation of our high mobility type Zaku. Because just because it's high mobility doesn't mean it's highly articulated. The head is technically on a double ball joint, but you're not gonna get a whole lot out of it. The shoulders then are really nicely articulated. We get the typical hinge forward with the ball joint inside of it, so very nicely forward, a little bit backwards. Upwards goes also really nicely, a little bit on the ball joint and then an extra hinge inside of there. The shoulder shield moves out of the way really well. It's on its own little ball joint, so it will also wiggle around a little bit should you want to. The arms will rotate around below the shoulder, bend at the elbow on only a single joint. The hands are on ball joints, will wiggle around, turn around, and do everything a ball joint does. The waist then is on a double ball joint, goes forwards nicely, backwards nicely, will rotate around only a little bit. But considering that this is the high mobility type Zaku and it's got a pipeline running from this part all the way to the backpack, this is actually pretty good for what they could do with it. Then when we turn them around, these thrusters are on their own little ball joint, so they will also move around a little bit. These flaps unfortunately do not move. I was hoping that they would move in and out, but it is a remolded high grade, unfortunately. Then these front skirts will move forwards, allowing the legs to also go forwards pretty nicely. Backwards, not quite that much because they hit that back skirt. Then the side skirts will go out a little bit, but still provide the legs with quite some outwards movement. Then underneath the skirt armor, we will find a hole for an action base and an extra joint there. The legs will rotate around about that far. Then the knees are on a double joint, but this is all you're going to get out of them. Still completely understandable, the Master Grade suffered from the same problem. It is just a very difficult design, but on the flip side, we do get some really cool armor separation on the front. Then the feet are on the usual hinge and ball joint combo. They go forwards nicely with an extra flip-flop joint, then backwards a little bit like that. Side to side, not too bad, and will also rotate around like so. And just in case you were wondering, these little thrusters do not move, but they will break off. So overall, in terms of articulation, the Zaku 2 high mobility type is perfectly adequate. It's enough to get some really cool poses out of it, but it's definitely not the most articulated thing out there. Yes, some of it is due to the design of the mobile suit itself, but on other parts, it's just what was average for the time. So as always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And well, in a vacuum, I would say that this is definitely worth considering. It's an overall good representation of the mobile suit with a few things here and there that could have been better, but still for fans of Shin Matsunaga or Zaku's, this thing is totally worth adding to your collection. But whether or not it's worth getting over some of the other high-grade Zakus is an entirely different question. I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's quite a few out there. And other than its striking white color scheme, there's not really that much that makes this particular one stand out. And not even amongst the other high mobility types. Here it is next to the Johnny Raiden and the Black TriStar version, and of the three, the Johnny Raiden version is absolutely the one to get with its amazing giant bazooka. Then here it is next to the Zaku 2 F2 and the Revive Goof, which is basically an upgraded Zaku.
This is no Zaku, boy! No Zaku!
And in addition to that, you've also got the Origin Zakus, the Thunderbolt Zakus, which again not only stand out more, but also offer you more. And then finally, here it is next to the standard size Gym Custom and the always bulky Zaku 3. And that's all for this review of this very striking white mobile suit. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope all of you watching have a great day, and I'll see you all next time.